Hey guys, welcome to March 8th, Rosebud Thorn.
Yes. So we've actually got a lot of good feedback so far about the way we are doing the Rosebud Thorn now. So we are super excited to continue to be able to do it this way so that we can get some, lots of information out to you guys.
So we'll just start at the top today, I guess, and work our way down. So Chris sent in his rose. So this is what's going well this week. Working slowly towards a better work-life balance through sleep schedule, exercise, and beginning to explore new career paths so I can spend more time with my family.
That's awesome.
Ooh, that's an exciting one. Really exciting. So what's coming along for him? Eating enough calories and getting there, but I still feel like I'm stuffing myself sometimes with fruits and vegetables. I appreciate I got the feedback of eating a bit higher calorie foods like nuts to get everything in me. And that is really helpful. We talked about a little bit about low volume and high volume foods last week. So I love that that is coming along for you now. Thorn, so what's a pain in your butt or what's difficult? He's still having a bit of low energy at the gym, but it's coming along. Looking back on it, there was a pretty big, I can't even.
There was a pretty bad big bug going through my house, and it definitely affected me more than I realized. But I'm still trying to get to the gym and get the reps in, even if it takes me a bit longer or it's lighter weights. Okay,
That was a tongue twister.
that was a tongue twister.
I
You're
was like,
messing with us, Chris.
am I reading this? A pretty bad big bug. So I'm glad that the big bug is hopefully gone from your house now. And when we do have sicknesses rolling through our house, it can really affect our energy. I think we even start to feel better, but our energy might sometimes still feel really low. So I would say that sounds like what might be affecting you, especially if you're noticing that your energy is coming up. Also, low calories for an extended period of time will affect that as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say, and it plays in beautifully because typically, if there's a bug like a stomach bug going through the house, calories will be a little bit lower than they usually would be, just because if we eat too much, we feel like we're going to see that food again, and that's never a good feeling. So again, as you are starting to recover, as you are starting to feel better, and those the calories come up, the food level starts to come up. Hopefully that does help with the energy as well as starting to feel better as well. So love that. Thank you so much. And your rose is amazing. I'm super excited to hear more about that.
Me too. Christine says her rose. Once again, I made delicious meal prep. Also, exercises are feeling good. I wish Christine would meal prep for me. um, but recovery from workouts are happening faster. I love that. So that shows us that you're trained, that you've been doing this for a while.
Consistency. That is telling us that now we are seeing consistency. So our body is getting used to the available energy stores and being able to flush that lactic acid a bit quicker. That's awesome.
And last week she was sore. So I mean, like we're
Progression. It's a beautiful thing.
Thorn, motivation, but I set a goal and it helped me to get back on task. So this is good. Motivation can be really difficult. Finding that goal that motivates us to stay focused can be very, very, very beneficial. Christine, I would love to know what that goal is. So please do share that with us. And maybe I'll get more when I do a power call.
Yeah, I love the idea of having a goal and helping to get those tasks, kind of lining yourself up for success. So goals are amazing. The other portion of that can definitely help with motivation is when we start to really focus on why we are looking to create that change in the first place. And lots of time that plays into our goals, right? If we have a health goal for a specific reason, lots of time that reason ties into our why, or it is the reason why we are creating these changes to begin with. So again, I love that's helping with the motivation. And again, I would suggest to anybody that's struggling with that motivation to start looking at why you decided to start this journey, why you chose to create something different in your life. Because when we can focus on that why, it can really push us in the right direction.
And even if I call them micro goals, but they're small short-term goals that it's like you know, this week I want to hit the gym 3 times. And if that's my goal for this week, then I'm not thinking about how I have to hit the gym 3 times every week. It's just this week,
Yeah.
you know? So breaking those goals down into smaller goals that feel like not so far away, that we can feel that sense of accomplishment sooner, can be really, really helpful as well.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, Nicole says, Rose, happiness and overall feeling good. Little stomach upset, but gonna do a cleanse again and see if that helps. Bud, being chilled out, working on stress levels.
Love it.
Thorn, I'm stressed about my best friend. It's something I've decided to let go of because it's serving me no purpose.
Ooh,
Mm.
that's a big one. So stressing about, and I'm gonna take best friend out of the equation, just to
Others.
generalize with everybody. Stressing about relationships with others, right? Because we are social creatures and we really do rely on building those communities, building those relationships in our lives that are healthy and that set us on the right path. So and the fact that you're saying it's something you've decided to let go because it's no longer serving its purpose for you. I absolutely love that, because sometimes we outgrow, sometimes we change so drastically that perhaps the relationships we had in the past no longer serve us in that moment. And being able to realize that is, I'm going to go ahead and call it almost a superpower. Being able to say, I have the availability within my new self to realize how much I've grown, and the fact that, you know, maybe some of the relationships that you've had in the past, whether they're friends, family, whatever it is, that maybe you've grown away from that. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to never hang out with that person again, but allowing yourself that space to continue your growth unimpeded is important.
I've had a lot of people in my life that have been really impactful, and I often find myself wondering, where are these people now? Like, these are people I used to spend every day with. What are they doing now? And it is really helpful to remember that people come into our lifetime for a purpose and a season. And sometimes those seasons last a really, really long time, and they can be lifelong. And sometimes it's that season, you know, changes and evolves, and that's okay too. So remembering that we have, every person that comes into our life has an impact on us, and we have an impact on them. But it's okay to grow and evolve, and for the seasons to change.
Yeah, 100%. Love it.
Ashley says her Rose been killing my workouts and lifting heavier.
Woo!
Love that. She really has been. She's been sending me videos of her form. It's been excellente. Bud eliminating snacks and having larger meals. This was something that she was super resistant to, and I'm so proud of her for coming this far and changing that up. Thorn, reducing carbs so they are within my macros. You know what? I feel like that is a thorn for a lot of people.
Yeah. And especially, you know what, carbs are a hard one, right? Because our brain loves carbohydrates. Our brain works most optimally when we have a decent amount of carbohydrates in us. So when we are trying to reduce them because maybe we're blowing them out of the water a little bit, it can definitely be tricky. And I know everybody on here is like, oh, are you saying to not eat carbs? Not a chance. I love carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are what will also give us the most amount of sustainable energy that our body can have. So finding that balance, right? And this is why we always talk about, we will never ask anybody to cut anything out of their diet. But it's all about finding the balance, and it's all about finding ways that work for you. So I love that the focus is on starting to reduce those carbs, because I know that was one of those vexes for you, where it was like, it's going to be hard to do this because of, you know, because of the way that we are raised in society and the way that we associate feelings with food. So I love that the focus is there, and I know that it is hard. But at the end of the day, I know that it is going to be able to help you and serve you long term. So that's awesome.
One thing to think about too is that there's a difference between healthy eating and weight loss eating. And I know I've said this before. Healthy eating might mean that I can have more of a serving size, a larger serving size or portion or more amount of something. Whereas weight loss eating really means that we need to be in that caloric deficit. And creating that caloric deficit can be from food or can be from movement, right? So we have a couple different ways of creating that caloric deficit. So finding the ones that work for us, and then maybe it's just focusing on this is a temporary thing. I'm temporarily swapping these things out or these portion sizes in order to hit my greater goal. And once I hit it, then I can go from there. I do have a really nice reference sheet for carb swaps, things that, you know, like rice for cauliflower rice and stuff like that. I have some good ideas there. So if you guys want that resource, please let me know.
Love it.
Dina Lee says Rose being active,
Woo.
but learning proper nutrition. So one of those things that we've been talking about, I know, is carbohydrates as well. Thorn, pain in my butt is still suppers and thinking about what to cook, but it's coming along.
Love that.
She's been looking at the Iron Body meals recipes. I know that.
You know what's funny? I was actually gonna say that. A great resource for everybody in here, everybody that would be on this call, because you guys all have app access, is in the back end of our resources. Every meal recipe that we ever made for meal prep is in the Iron Body Meals resource for you guys.
With the macros.
With the macros, with exactly how to cook it, like literally everything, the sauces, the meats, the whatever we cooked and however we cooked it, step by step is in there. So if you guys want help thinking up meal ideas, thinking up delicious, healthy meal ideas, definitely go and take a look in those resources, guys. There's a ton in there.
We still make them all the time, and like the pad thai is one of those ones that goes over really well in our house. So
yeah, there's a million of them though.
We love leftovers.
One of these days we might make a cookbook.
Maybe. Okay, Megan, do you want to read it or do you want me to?
No, you keep going.
Okay,
On a roll.
I'm on a roll. Okay, Megan says her Rose getting back into eating better, and my new workouts, feeling way more confident at the gym.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Bud, managing my time along with households and moms and spouse and my dog mom responsibilities, realizing that I need to make sure I'm prioritizing myself more. That's a good realization to have.
Love it.
Thorn, nothing really feels super difficult. Maybe managing my mental health better. I seem to go from super motivated to not, from eating good to not eating good. I think it's because we're not looking at it on a spectrum. Right? Like we still look at it so much as it's like black and white. I'm either on or I'm off.
Yeah.
Like, what if it was like more like on a rainbow, like on a spectrum? Like I'm not necessarily, well, I'm giving like that shape, like that half rainbow shape. So I don't know. So like not eating good is at one end and eating good is at the other. And then I can fluctuate between the two and it doesn't change the look of my rainbow. It means that I can still be on, maybe with a different portion size, or maybe I add something else in that starts to create what was a bad choice, quote unquote, into a better choice.
Yeah.
It comes back to our terminology and our language around this. It also comes back to what we want and the lifestyle we want to maintain.
Yeah.
Which is the way that we want to maintain this lifestyle long term, because your body, if you want to change it, directly reflects the lifestyle that you maintain. So if you want to maintain a lifestyle that is quote unquote bad eating, then you're going to receive the body that goes with that.
And the other thing that I want to toss out there is, I'm just in reading that, I see that there's a little bit of a comparison there, right? It says maybe managing my mental health better. I seem to go from super motivated to not, from eating good to not eating good. Comparison is really the thief of joy, right? So if we want to compare apples to apples, and this goes for everybody, if you've been on this journey for a while and you're saying, you know, I go from eating good to not eating good, I would challenge you to look at what not eating good looked like 6 months ago, a year ago, when you were outside of this program. And then if we really want to compare, let's compare what not eating good back then looked like to what you're not eating good now looks like. And I'm willing to bet that that has come leaps and bounds. Even just having the knowledge and awareness around that. And that goes for everybody on this call, like thinking about, you know, if we really want to compare, let's compare to previous to when we had this knowledge, because I'm willing to bet, be willing to throw money down on the fact that your habits and behaviors have changed, and maybe you're not eating or as motivated as you were a week ago or 2 weeks ago or even a month ago. But again, if we look at the big picture of things and we start to look at before we had the education and knowledge that you guys get from us and that you have now, I'm willing to bet that you'd be pretty happy with where we're at. So again, not focusing on, you know, I had an off week, right? Sure, we all have on weeks, we all have off weeks, we all have stressors, we all have different things that come up in our lives that create change. But focusing on the big picture and the fact that sure, we might have had a little bit of time that was a little off schedule for where we're at now with how far we've come now. But again, big picture, where were we at a year ago? How does that compare to that if we really want to compare something? Compare yourself into success. Don't compare yourself into failure.
100%. I love that.
Yeah.
So good. Compare yourself into success. I love that. The other piece of this too is that, you know, it sounds like there's been some stress, right? My bud, what's coming along is all of these household responsibilities and mom responsibilities, and that you're realizing that I need to prioritize myself more often. So it really does feel like there is that piece of like, I'm contemplating of all of these other things. And sometimes when stress hits the fan and we have a lot of things going on in our head, we don't necessarily always make the best choices because we need an easier route, right? We like easy, and sometimes it's just easy to pick easy, and we need that in order to relieve some of the stress or to let go of some of the stress around things, especially for people that don't love to cook or don't love to shop or those kinds of things where there is a little bit more preparation involved. So, you know, take it each day. Don't focus on it as like I need to change tomorrow. I've got time, and take it each day.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, I'll let you do this one.
All right, Michelle. Michelle said her Rose is just trying to stay positive about the situation. I've been dealt upon being sick. At this point, I don't think anything else should phase me. Okay, that we are focusing on the fact that we are building resiliency, and I love it. Bud went swimming again and felt better in the pool. Did not overdo it this time. Girl, he won't be a T-Rex this time, but definitely got in a good swim and went by myself again. Good. You know, finding that space for yourself, and again, not overdoing it, because I know you like to overdo it. And then the thorn right now is life can be difficult, and moving on. Just keep swimming. I love that. That is that focus on there is no permanence in this life. So when we start to again maybe feel a little bit down, maybe feel like, you know, we're in a cycle that's taking longer than we would like it to take, whatever that cycle is, whatever's going on in our life, that focus that there is no permanence in that, and that we will get through this, we will get past this, because we are all the ages we are, and guess what? We've overcome every single thing that's ever been put in front of us. Resiliency is a beautiful thing.
Bonnie says her Rose, most of her cable machine exercises. Her Bud is her rotating planks, and her Thorn is increasing weight in my dumbbell snatch and my dumbbell chest press. Her dumbbell chest press is a single double, so that one is not an easy one to increase.
That is a mean one.
It is a mean one. And the dumbbell snatch is also a very difficult, challenging one, utilizing the whole body and cardiovascular system. So I can understand how that would be a thorn. And Bonnie's one of those people that loves to see her weights or her reps increase every week. And so sometimes when they're not increasing, it can be mentally taxing, we'll call it.
Okay, so if we really want to focus on increasing the weight in that snatch and the chest press, then maybe, just maybe, we look at reducing the reps if we really want to get those weights up. So that's something that you can talk to us about. We can definitely talk about rep ranges and where we would be able to modify something if that is really what we want to see. The other option is understanding that, you know, thinking of a dumbbell chest press, it is a hard movement to progress, right? Especially when we are pushing ourselves near our top end of our limit. So again, trying to figure out a rep range that's going to challenge us but allow us to see progress. That dumbbell chest press, I'll be honest, I did not write that workout for you. This one did. So I'm hoping that the rep ranges are in that 6 to 10 range, just because that is such a challenging exercise that anything above that 10 reps, it is very hard to progress weight. So
yeah, it's not in the 6 to 10 range.
Okay.
But there's a reason for that. It's
Okay.
one of the few chest exercises that she has. Her trainer also programmed these exercises at the end of her workouts.
Of course, it's the
because
best place to have them.
they're not our they were not our primary focus. So program design is really important when we're looking for progress in a workout, to know that the exercises that are towards the end of your workouts are going to be your harder exercises to progress in. And we were also not prioritizing a lot of chest exercises. So therefore, the less volume we're having on each week means the less muscle recruitment that we're building over time.
Yeah, it's hard when we don't know exactly. Anyways, next up is Randy. Randy said his Rose is going to the gym. His Bud is weight loss and muscle growth. That body recomp is a beautiful thing. And there is no Thorn written in.
That means Randy's just kicking ass.
Yeah, he's gonna say I saw Randy this week, and Randy is kicking ass. So keep up the amazing work, and yeah, you're crushing it, buddy.
Ashley says her Rose, I feel like I'm making time for my workouts and movement goals, but I feel less stressed this week and leads overwhelmed with work.
Less overwhelmed.
Oh, I think it does say leads, but okay, and less overwhelmed with work. So that's great. I love that you're less overwhelmed. That's less stress. Thorn, I just need to be better at meal prepping. So one of the things that I used to get people doing meal prep or meal mapping, especially on like the weekends, where you'd map out your week. And I am not that person. I used to be. There was a time in my life where that worked really well functionally for our family, but we would spend like 4 hours cooking food and meal prepping and portioning it out. It was like every Sunday, and we would dread it. I remember that. It was like row freeze and then meal prep. Now we're kind of, I like to call us like functional meal preppers, meaning like I usually take out a protein in the morning from the freezer to defrost. And over the course of my day, I come up with a plan on how and what we're cooking.
Yeah. And the other thing is the staples, we make an absolute ton of every time we do it. So every time we make rice, or every time we make potatoes, or every time we make anything, we make a lot of it so that we have leftovers, because having those staples that are easier to just heat up make meal prepping a lot easier. So I'm not saying you have to have these intricate, perfect meals that are meal prepped, but having the staples of those meals, the components of those meals, as close to ready as you can, even if it's just pre-cutting up your veg or something like that. You don't have to cook it all. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everyone mixed perfectly every time that you do meal prep, because then it limits your choices as well. Whereas if you have a rice and a meat and a veg in the fridge, you can kind of mix and match and add different sauces, and you can really kind of make a lot more variety if it's just the individual items separated.
Yeah, so and that's often what we do, because we'll cut up like 2 or 3 heads of lettuce at one time and have the rice cooked, and have usually some form of protein cut up and cooked in the fridge, and then it makes it so that we could make a rice bowl, or we could have, you know, the protein like a quesadilla.
Make nachos.
You can make nachos. Like we love all these other options that are kind of quick and grab and go. But being able to swap it in and out in a way that feels good for you and makes your life feel easier, versus going, oh my goodness, I have to prep all of this stuff. So make large quantities. Even when I'm making a big meal, like that pad thai that I was talking about a little earlier, or some beef stew or something, I usually double or triple the recipe. And then I always have some that I can put in the freezer, whether that's in individual portions or a big family size portion. So that makes quicker meals, meaning I just have to reheat them.
Yeah.
So hopefully that gives you guys some ideas. I believe that's it, because we already did Chris's last week and I apparently forgot to delete that one. So we have them all. Thank you guys for taking the time to hang out with us and to listen to our Rosebud Thorns. Please let us know what you think of this format. If you guys like this, we seem to get a lot more information out of you guys this way, because we have more people filling out the forms. Whereas before, there would only be a couple people maybe showing up to meetings. And so this is, for us, I think, a nicer way to be able to deliver this. But I do miss seeing all your faces on our weekly meetings. So let us know what you guys think of this. And without further ado, I can't wait to hear how your weekends go and your Rosebud Thorns for next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye for now.
Bye, guys.